Today, we're talking about projection. Now, before I get into that topic and how it can affect relationships and culture and lots of other things, I want to address my eye. I did not get hit in the face with a kettlebell from one of my many kettlebell fans. I know that a lot of people probably wanted to hit me in the head with a kettlebell, but this was a sty and it's actually looking a lot better. I look like Quasimodo just a few hours ago, so I think it's on the mend. But if you're asking why I look like a freak, now you know. Well, projection. What do I want to talk about? I think I'm going to title this video something to do with Trump. And because that was when I really started to understand projection or see it really at an extreme sense. And what is projection? Projection is something where you like take Trump, for example. People who hate Trump, they say he's arrogant, he's loud, he's rude, he's self-centered, they say all these characteristics about them, but they are doing the same exact characteristics. They have the same characteristics, they act and behave the same exact way, but they hate and they project their own problems onto someone else. They say these things about someone and have so much energy and hate towards someone. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they don't like those qualities in themselves, or I looked up some articles and tried to get some things more description about it. But projection, I'm going to read it right here, is a defense mechanism used to avoid taking responsibility for one's actions. So if I blame someone else on being arrogant or self-centered, it doesn't make me look as bad, even if I'm doing the same exact thing. And especially with someone like Trump, who's in a position of power like the president. And I think it's relevant to today. I was in a gym, training a client, and they said they were certifying the election results. And so I thought it was kind of on cue with today. But with Trump, it just blew my mind because I would see people and they would say, oh, he's never wrong, he's so arrogant, he's rude to people, he's all about himself. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, you're describing yourself. Now, I'm in no position to come out and say to someone, hey, have you ever taken a look in the mirror? Kettle, meat pot, that type of situation. I mean, if it was a friend, all right, even if it's a friend, right? And some of these people were close to me, you know what I mean? And are close to me. I try not to get involved in the political spectrum. If you think I'm coming at this from being a Trump supporter, I didn't vote for Trump. I didn't vote at all. I think all of it is kind of, all nonsense in a sense, I guess you could say. And I think that we're going to need a lot more than just a president to change it. I think we need to change, and that's why I make these YouTube videos, because it helps me, do better with my life, and I think it helps me inspire other people, and it helps get conversations back and forth. And that's why I say to everybody, start a YouTube channel and get your opinion and get your stuff out there. But with projection, if you're not taking accountability for your own actions and you're putting blame on other people for doing the same things you are, you don't have the perspective on yourself. And I think a lot of this has happened in our political world because no one has been able to take accountability because we live in different universes. I mean, if you look at the right and you look at the left, you look at the Republican and Democrat. It's funny enough, I'm wearing a hat with an elephant on it. It's an Alabama hat, but I was thinking about that too. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. It makes me look like a Republican supporter. Although I side more with Trump's views, I'm still, who knows what he's going to do? I don't know. All right, you have to keep him accountable. But what I'm saying with this projection thing is we haven't been able to keep each other accountable, because we've been able to just spew lies, one side against the other. It's their word against ours. We manipulate each other, and the public just eats this up, and then we feed off of that hate and that energy. And I think today more than ever, you would think that because we have I have the ability to watch the videos that I post. I have all this access to information to get perspective on myself. I made a video and I pissed off a bunch of kettlebell people and I acted like a know-it-all, and someone ripped me to shreds. They made a video about me and they said, you're out of line, you're arrogant, you think you know it all. And I'm like, yeah, I'll get you on that, right? I agree. I got to do better about how I, convey my ideas. I got to get better at acting like I've done everything and done it all and know it all. But what was funny to me about that was it was a case of projection again. The person that was doing this was acting exactly how I was acting, holier than thou. I know the answers, you don't. And so I then made a response video and I said, you know what? I'll take that. I'll take that for the team. I'll take that and I'll say, hey, I could do better. I could, act more humble about things, and I could present my ideas in a better way. But then I got another, essay response saying the same things. You're just this response video shows exactly how self-centered you are and how arrogant you are, the way that you look. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, interesting. It doesn't matter what I say. They're going to think their way about it. And I was like, maybe this is a sense of projection. Maybe he's not taking accountability for his actions, and maybe he's projecting that onto me. And I can only pray for the guy. I want to do better by myself. I really do. I want to not come off as arrogant. I want to help people with ideas. I want to get people to a deeper level of understanding of why there might be risks associated with, say, something like a kettlebell exercise. So I really am searching for that truth, and I might fail in many different opportunities. But when I see someone who's in the comment, in the video, in the things that they're accusing me of, doing the same exact things, it's sad to see, because I'm sitting there going, okay, well, if you're the authority on arrogance and I'm being arrogant, have you ever looked in the mirror? And I think we don't get enough opportunities to do that, even though we get to post videos and see things and have comments and do things. It's very interesting to see how our world today is not taking that accountability, and we have so much projection, especially on the online world. And it's like, hey, these are opportunities to learn. It's an opportunity for me to learn. I'm not going to backtrack on my comments about these things, because again, I'm not just operating on this top level where I do something and I see results. I do an exercise, I do a kettlebell swing, and I see results, and I go, oh, this is the best thing since sliced bread. I go, well, why am I getting results with these things? What are the risks associated with this? Could I do this in a different way? And I've been open enough to be able to find different avenues and try different things and get to those root answers. And maybe the root answer is still out there, but I think I've stumbled upon some pretty good stuff, and I want to share that with people. And then, I get attacked for being arrogant about things, and I'm like, hey, you're right. So what I'm trying to say with this projection thing is, whether it's in politics, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's in your own relationships, these things can really damage relationships because you're not living in reality. What I'm so blessed about having a 12-step program that I'm working, since I'm a recovering addict, a recovering alcoholic, I've got a lot of addictions, and I was fortunate enough to get a DUI and walk into the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous and work a 12-step program. And through that, they do this thing, and we were just working on this step today, was taking a personal inventory of your faults at the end of the day and looking at what you did wrong. And if you have to make an apology right then and there. If you have to take accountability for something, taking accountability. I never did this before. Talk about projection. I mean, if anybody understands projection better, it's me. I had no faults. Everyone else had all these faults, and I projected all that stuff. And I didn't have a clear way of really seeing myself. And so I think that we don't practice it enough. I think, although I was talking about Trump and Trump haters, I think Trump is a perfect example of this as well. He's someone who doesn't take accountability for his actions, and he doesn't say sorry, and he is the best thing ever, and he's never wrong, and I always win, and all this other stuff. And it's like that's our culture here. But I feel like if we start to understand these things a little bit more, dive a little bit deeper into them, like I've gotten the opportunity to do, it opens up things and it frees you from the bondage of having to hate. Like I said with this example with this YouTuber, normally I would be furious at this guy. I would lose sleep over this. I'm sleeping like a baby because I'm like, I'm praying. I literally prayed for him, saying, I hope that he can be open enough to look at new ideas. I hope that he can see what I've seen in myself and come to these realizations and try to work on these same problems. And I hope that he gets all of these rewards in life. I hope he gets peace of mind. I hope he gets, success, wealth, health, all of these things. Normally, I would wish the opposite. I would wish death. I hope his channel freaking, crashes and burns. I hope he gets a ton of hate, because I would be resentful and I would be hateful and I would be jealous, and I would say, how dare he come and attack me? But now I have this different perspective, as I can sit there and I can say, hey, I've done this stuff before. I've been there, and I know how it's miserable to not take accountability or not even to see your faults, because you're living in delusion. And that kind of brings me back to the delusion that we're delulu, all right, as my friend Maxim Brady says. We're living in two different universes in the political spectrum. We have lost our minds because we haven't had anyone to balance us out. We just have our own little echo chambers. So if you can get out of that and you can start to see things for how they are, don't make them better than they are, don't make them worse than they are, just see them for how they are, and come to some clarity and understand, what are your character defects? What are the things that you need to work on yourself? And when you start to say, oh, look at this person, and go, wait a second, all right, what's the old adage is, as I point one finger back, all right, I get 3 fingers or 4 fingers pointing back at me. Well, the way that I point, it's gonna be like this. So it's gonna be 3 fingers back at me. Hey, or I can point like this, right? No, but hey, you gotta look at yourself. You gotta look in the mirror. And I think YouTube videos give us a great opportunity for that. Taking a personal inventory, for me, the 12 steps have been tremendous with this. And if we do that, we can really solve these problems and we can become better. Because like I said, I wasn't in a peaceful state of mind. Someone who called me out on my shit, I would want to completely obliterate. Now I can see their perspective and I go, okay, yeah, maybe it hurts my feelings initially, but I can see their perspective as time goes by, and I can then work on myself, and then I can help other people, and then the relationships get better, and all of these different things. So I think that's it for projection. I hope that was something that you can get the wheels churning in your own head and maybe see how you might be doing this or seeing other people doing it. And again, not judging them for that, but kind of seeing it and going, oh, okay, that's what's going on. They just haven't learned to take accountability for their own actions, or maybe they don't see it. I don't suggest tapping on the shoulder and then telling them, because that's not going to go well either way. But again, praying for them and working on yourself. I think being an example is the only way that you're going to be able to really make impact on someone. So that's all we got for today. And until next time, I'll see you then.